No, he on IG. I've never professed. I've never professed that I was as great as Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say,
yes, sir,
I got what I got because I worked my ass off. Now,
yes,
Shaq has been the one that said that he didn't work as hard, he didn't train as hard, he didn't eat as well as he should have.
Right.
Shaq is the one that anytime someone wins an MVP, he talks about how he should have been the MVP over Steve Nash. I love you.
All right, I'm also paying information. You know where Kenny the Jet Smith at?
Yes, I got Kenny too. I know exactly where he's at.
Okay, now this one right here gets you going to I'm gonna get you some motherfucking big dollars. Do you know where Ernie Johnson is at?
Ooh, let me work on that one right quick. That's a tough one.
All right, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
All right, one.
All right, go.
Shannon Sharpe is done playing it cool, and he's gunning straight for Shaquille O'Neal's neck. Shannon is finally speaking out and calling Shaq out for real, no filters. Forget all the basketball chatter. This is bigger than TV drama because Shannon's claiming Shaq lined him up for a jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit. Let's be honest, the timing is shady as ever, and this lawsuit didn't just drop out of the sky. It came crashing down right when Shannon was about to lock in that insane $100 million deal with DSPN. But guess what? Now he's pulled out of those talks, and word on the street is this lawsuit was the final blow that killed the deal. Coincidence? Nah, it's looking like Shaq might have been playing the long game on this one, pulling out a revenge plan that's been cooking for years. If this is all real, things are getting messy fast, and this conspiracy is about to explode since a leaked audio dropped. In that clip, Shaq was allegedly trying to get dirt on Shannon, hitting people up and digging for skeletons. And apparently, he found something big, something juicy enough to shake Shannon up and hit him where it hurts most. But it doesn't stop there. This lawsuit involves Gabriella Zika, but insiders claim she ain't even the first woman Shaq may have used to bait Shannon. There was another case before all this, and people are saying Shaq's fingerprints were all over that one too. Get ready because this story is wild, messy, and dripping with receipts. We need to see just how deep this rabbit hole really goes, and to do that, we gotta start with Matt Barnes, who low-key let the cat out of the bag. Picture this, it's early 2022. And Matt Barnes is out here doing his usual, popping up everywhere in the sports world. Then out of nowhere, an audio clip starts spreading like wildfire. And guess who's in it? Matt Barnes is allegedly spilling tea about how Shaquille O'Neal was ready to drop major stacks to dig up dirt on Shannon Sharpe. We're not talking chump change either, we're talking serious street cash.
All right, and remember, I'm paying top dollar for all that information. Love you, boy. Hey, don't tell nobody.
All right, one.
All right, go.
Now, where did this audio come from? That part's still murky. Some say it was a private convo that got leaked. Others think it might have been a hot mic moment during a podcast or some side recording. Either way, Matt's voice was clear as day, and he was basically hinting that Shaq wasn't just salty over some MVP talk. Nah, he was ready to get down and dirty to take Shannon down. And if you look at the timeline, it actually lines up. Remember when their beef exploded after Shaq came for Shannon over that MVP situation with Nikola Jokic? Shannon called it out, saying it sounded like jealousy, and Shaq did not let that slide. But instead of going back and forth on Instagram like everyone else, Shaq went full-on petty billionaire mode.
Well enough to have a problem with you. And so what I try to do, I got kids damn near your age, and so I'm not going to go back and forth. I don't go back and forth, but I say what I say. I like to think that I keep everything that I possibly can on the court. But I think the thing is, Cam, that I speak with so much passion. When I talk, people take my passion as being personal.
Right. Now, we got to talk about it. You in the Shaq situation, right? He came out with a diss track and I heard your response to it, but his was more, there's another situation. The passion of whatever, and I believe you caught it straight, because I don't think you was, in essence, talking about it more so than Gilbert. You did, and then it spun to that. Have you guys talked?
We haven't. Shaq feels the way he feels, and he's perfectly fine to feel that way. I said what I said. I still think Shaq is a phenomenal basketball player, even though, he minimized my career. I'm fine.
But here's where it gets real shady. After all that MVP drama, things suddenly went quiet between them in public. No clapping back, no sneak disses, no shady interviews. It's like Shaq was playing chess while everyone else was stuck playing checkers. People thought, oh, they cool now, beef squashed. Little did anyone know behind the scenes, Shaq was allegedly already digging for dirt on Shannon. Think about it. Shannon's stock was going crazy at the time, locking down new podcast deals, TV guest spots, and that rumored 100 million DSPN bag was right around the corner. So it makes sense why Shaq would want to move in silence, striking quietly but deadly. But hold up, if you still think Shaq had nothing to do with any of this, wait till we get into this viral TMZ video, and not just any video either. It's the one that caught Shannon Sharpe getting real cozy with a random fan at an event. Look, everyone knows Shannon is a people person. He's got that charm, he's funny, and yeah, he loves the ladies, especially the white ones, but that ain't news to anybody. But this video felt strategic, like it was almost too perfect. In the clip, Shannon is smiling, laughing, and leaning in just a little too close to this female fan. And the internet went off. People started saying, this feels like a setup, especially since right after this video dropped, the same woman's name started popping up in the background of these lawsuit rumors.
Up there?
Let's be real, TMZ doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. Somebody makes that call, somebody tips them off, and somebody makes sure that camera is pointed exactly where it needs to be to catch that moment. And the saddest part? If this was a setup, it worked perfectly. They dangled the bait, and it caught exactly what it needed to catch. Shannon, being his usual friendly self, fell right into it. And that might have been the exact green light Shaq needed to start cooking up some mess behind the scenes. By now, you already know Gabriella Zika is the woman at the center of this wild $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. And guess who's leading this lawsuit? None other than Tony Busby. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he's the same high-powered attorney who repped all those women against Deshaun Watson. And let's not forget, he's locked horns with Jay-Z too. This man doesn't play when it comes to high-profile celebrity takedowns or shakedowns. Now let's get into these claims. Gabriella says Shannon forced himself on her, physically hurt her, and had controlling behavior mixed with psychological manipulation. She's claiming she's dealing with trauma, stress, and all kinds of emotional damage. This isn't light stuff. It's heavy, graphic accusations. But what really made the internet go crazy were the leaked recordings, because Busby allegedly has audio clips he claims back up Gabriella's story. Here's where it gets sticky. Shannon is pushing back hard. He came out with a public statement saying they need to play the whole 10-minute recording, not just the parts that fit a narrative.
The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about.
Now, when a man says play the whole tape, that tells you he feels the edit is dirty, and he's standing 10 toes down saying Gabriella was a willing participant. He's claiming the media is chopping up snippets just to make him look guilty. But here's where it gets real murky. People started digging, and what popped up? Leaked texts, and not just any texts either. Screenshots started floating around allegedly showing Shannon and Gabriella talking about some wild role-play fantasies, including race play. And if you don't know what that is, keep it that way, because it's dark. But let's not act brand new. This ain't coming out of nowhere. Shannon Sharpe been telling the world he's a big old freak for a long minute now. Let's rewind to 2023 when Shannon was co-hosting the Nightcap podcast with Chad Ochocinco Johnson. They were talking about actress Yvonne Orji, you know, the gorgeous queen from Insecure and the host of that Netflix Pop the Balloon Challenge. She's been very open about saving herself for marriage, and Chad suggested she'd be a good match for Shannon. And what did Shannon say? He laughed and said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm looking for a sinner." Then he doubled down and name-dropped adult film star Miss B Nasty. That man said he wasn't looking for a woman on the straight and narrow. He wanted something nasty. Now look, nobody's judging his preferences, but let's keep it real. Shannon has always been open about the lifestyle he likes. From the way he jokes about women, to his lusty comments, to the on-air thirst traps, it's been right in front of our faces. So now that Gabriella's lawsuit is here and these wild claims are popping up left and right, can we really act shocked? He literally told us what it was in 4K. But here's the kicker. Gabriella might not be the only woman allegedly tied to this so-called Get Shannon agenda. Because guess what? Word is there's another woman linked to this drama, and her connection might blow this story even wider open. There's another case with the same messy vibes, and folks are saying Shaq's fingerprints might be all over it too. Let me put you on to Michelle Evans. Back in 2023, Michelle Evans filed a lawsuit against Shannon in New York almost 2 years before Gabriella even came forward. So technically, Michelle's case was the first, and what she alleged, straight up disturbing. And the wildest part, hardly anybody was talking about it back then. According to legal docs snagged by People magazine, Michelle didn't have a fancy high-powered lawyer like Busby. She was out here repping herself, just telling her side of the story. She claimed she had been in a long-term relationship with Shannon for almost 10 years until around 2010. And things blew up after Shannon allegedly cheated. And that's when her claims took a dark, dark turn. Michelle says after they had their first big fight, Shannon demanded they have sex, and when she said no, what she describes next is pure trauma. She claims Shannon forcibly held her down, made her get on her knees, and performed non-consensual oral penetration. She says even though she protested, it didn't stop, but it didn't end there. Michelle also claimed that Shannon pushed her onto the bed and proceeded to engage in non-consensual penetration while saying, and I quote, "I'm gonna make it so no other man will want you." Now let's get this straight. Michelle isn't suing Shannon for sexual assault in the legal sense, but she did claim he threatened her, tried to destroy her professional rep, and caused her intense emotional distress. She says the internet and media backlash was brutal, with people calling her a liar and tearing down her name everywhere. And yes, Shannon Sharpe denied these allegations too, just like he's denied every claim made against him so far. But come on now. Once, you might call it bad timing. Twice, you might call it a fluke. But 3 times with all these similar accusations floating around, at some point there's a pattern writing itself, loud and clear. And now, we gotta circle back to the one topic everybody's been side-eyeing since Gabriella's news dropped, these Diddy parties. Now listen, Shannon Sharpe has said publicly that he never pulled up to those wild Diddy parties. He went on record saying he had nothing to do with all that alleged freaky, cult-like Hollywood madness. But when you step back and look at everything dropping now, these lawsuits, the leaked texts, the heavy essay allegations, people are starting to wonder what's really real. Because the vibes, the energy, and the power play dynamics being described in these lawsuits are giving the exact same energy we've seen in these Diddy investigations. Control, coercion, obsession, and cover-ups.
Oh my God. You ever was at a Diddy party?
No,
Never?
I ain't never been invited. I ain't that big. I mean, maybe if I was in the position that I'm in now, but back then, no. I don't get invited to no parties, bro. Plus, I'm a homebody.
Do you like partying or no? Nah. I feel
I just like to be to myself, man.
I feel that.
You know.
I feel that.
And it's not just fans asking these questions. Remember when Jay-Z and Diddy's convo got brought up publicly not too long ago? Shaquille O'Neal was right there, sitting in that same room. And what did Shaq do? He got real quiet, then stood up and ghosted the scene, walking right off stage. That moment had everybody looking like, hold up, does Mr. Shaquille O'Neal know something? Now, Shaq never said Shannon's name, but the vibe was definitely giving. I know people who are living that life, but out here pretending they're not.
That man said he'll give you a chance.
You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you,
Fix
Shaq?
the wall, man.
Yeah, here, back here.
Fix the wall,
I'll go
man.
see if I can fix the wall.
And here's the thing. Shannon has always presented himself as a family man, dropping Bible quotes, pushing that clean Uncle image. But now, these lawsuits are showing something very, very different behind that curtain. Now, sources close to the situation are whispering that Shannon thinks Shaq might be playing a dirty game behind the scenes, laughing it up, throwing shade, and maybe even helping these setups roll out, all while acting like everybody's favorite funny guy. And if you peep Shaq's recent IG activity, he's definitely not moving like a man who's stressing about anything. Shaq literally posted a joke about the whole Matt Barnes audio leak situation, captioning a post. Dang, got caught again. I need that information. I'm paying $2. Meanwhile, Shannon is out here low-key losing everything. His reputation in shambles, his podcast without Joe taking hits, his TV career real shaky right now. The brands, the partnerships, the clean image he spent decades building, all of that is hanging by a thread. And the worst part, the more Shannon tries to defend himself, the worse it all gets. Every time he speaks up, more dirt leaks, more receipts drop, more recordings surface. The energy is screaming that something ain't adding up. Meanwhile, Shaq is chilling, living his best life, dropping petty captions, and acting like none of this touches him. But I gotta leave you with a few questions to cook on. First, do you think Shannon Sharpe is getting treated unfairly? Second, is Shaquille O'Neal just out here joking, or is he low-key throwing Shannon under the bus? And third, with all these lawsuits and leaks dropping, can Shannon even bounce back from this? Or is his career cooked for real? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I know you got opinions on this. And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Also, click on the next video popping up on your screen right now because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next.